So I want to make a dedicated video and talk to you guys about enlightenment, channeling, and transmutation. And these are like subcategories or topics that fall into a much bigger picture on a video I'll be releasing later about how light and darkness aren't just good and evil, but teachers if you're willing to see them as so and learn the lesson. Now, if you're watching the YouTube short version of this video, you definitely will not get the full perspective in the short 3 minutes that is allotted. So pain births creation. But oftentimes when we operate at a low vibration or a low level of consciousness, when we are betrayed, when we are heartbroken, when something quote unquote bad happens to us, we take that in, we harbor it, we internalize it, we become bitter, we become sad, we fall into depression or anger or whatever else, and we just see that experience or the person who gifted us with that as being evil or bad. But pain births creation. We see this in a literal sense. When a woman is pregnant and giving birth, that experience is painful, but she is literally giving birth to a new creation. Same thing with working out. When you are working out, you are physically experiencing a uncomfortable or painful experience, but that births the creation of bigger or stronger muscles. Now let's talk about in the spiritual sense or in the more unseen sense. Think about some great artists or celebrities or people who are really talented and skilled. When you look at a lot of these people, oftentimes they've had very hard lives full of hardships and betrayals, abuse, time in jail. And lots of people look at them like, wow, I can't believe they're still standing. Or, they went through all this and they're still an amazing singer or dancer or producer or author or whatever else. And that is because they have taken the pain that they have and they have started transmuting that pain in order to birth creation. So from the pain, they started to use it to create good works. Things like a book or a movie, or they're a great singer. And that's why there's some great singers like Michael Jackson or Chris Brown or Tina Turner who are known for their amazing voice. Whether you like these individuals or not, they are well known for how great their voices are and the music that they produce or have produced. But yet, when you look at their life story, they've had these really hurtful and painful lives. Now, the phrase hurt people also comes into play because with some of these people, they have also gone on to hurt individuals when they have not properly channeled, transmuted, or enlightened their mental load when it comes to this pain. So when it comes to the pain or anger that you've experienced or that you feel within, there are multiple different ways to use it. Now, like I said, lots of people just go around channeling it, which I'm going to get into later. But outside of transmuting it into making good works, the other way to go about it is enlightenment. And this is what I've talked about in different videos. I can make a whole series, I feel like, just breaking down the etymology or hidden spirituality of words. But ment is short for mental, and this appears in many different words. Like if we break down the word advertisement, it is a service announcement or piece of media designed to shift your mental focus, convince you to buy into or support whatever is being shown to you. If we break down the word embarrassment, it is a mental state of feeling embarrassed, and we physically see the manifestation of how you feel inwardly. Same thing if we break down the word government. It is a system or structure put in place in order to govern or shape your mental state. This is why the government creates laws and tells you what you can and can't do. And all of this is what helps influence or change your perspective on reality, often limiting the mindsets of the individuals who 100% believe in it. So with the word enlightenment, like I broke down multiple videos, enlightenment, your mental load has to be enlightened. So the way you enlighten your mental load is by releasing the pain, the trauma, the various doctrines of the world, traditions, culture, societal norms, skewed beliefs, and personal prejudices. All of these things are keeping you down, keeping you heavy, and keeping you confined or small-minded. What you'll notice about all the things I just named is that they are designed either to keep you in a box to where it's like, all right, you have to act and say and do things this exact way, otherwise it's sacrilege, or they're designed to place other people in a box to where you look at all people as being just this way and you don't have an open mind. And as far as the pain and trauma aspect go, when you don't release, when you don't forgive, this keeps you heavy, this keeps you jaded, and this warps your perception of what things actually are, and it makes it to where you live in a reality that is very skewed. And once you release these things, it allows you to transcend. You know, like I said, getting back into the words, it's funny, it's literally in the name, transcend. The trance is ending where your vision is now clearer, and it's no longer blinded or distorted or cloudy from all these various things that's been imposed on you. And once you have released all of the heavy things that were weighing you down and the trance has ended, transcend, and your mind is now open to receiving, this allows you to receive new things that are beneficial for you, and your mindset shifts, and this allows you to ascend or rise and reach enlightenment. And this allows you to experience new versions of reality or life that you didn't originally think was possible, because now instead of being closed-minded and controlled by doctrine and hurt and pain and being closed off and jaded, you're now walking through life with an open mind, and you're operating from a higher perspective where you're now accepting, and the things that you will now be imbued with or receive will be that of things that match your current mental level. And the physical aspect of enlightenment, you get rid of the things that no longer serve you or align with your current mental state or the person that you currently are or are becoming. This means people, places, and things that are holding you back and that are going against your very being, regardless of titles, regardless of history, and regardless of who they're supposed to be. It's about looking at everyone and everything objectively and seeing what resonates and what doesn't. So if you notice, the two ways I've gone over are two different ways to release or express this quote unquote pain or hurt. One is through good works, one is through healing or forgiveness or looking at things from a higher perspective. The last way is the way that most people embody, and they embody it in a hurt sense, is through channeling. Now, the one thing that people get caught up in a lot in these days is what I like to call spiritual psychosis, which I will be making a whole separate video on, but it's in believing that you are always supposed to be peace, love, and light 24/7, that darkness has no purpose, and that doing anything of darkness is bad, and that, you know, all this nonsense. Everything has a purpose and a place if you're willing to see it. So with channeling anger and hurt, I do believe there are proper times to channel this energy or emotions and express them directly towards someone or something. I'll give you a perfect example. Let's say you're walking with your kid through the woods, and a wild boar comes and starts attacking them. Are you just going to sit there and watch, or throw up your hands and say, oh, I'm a peaceful person, you know, I meditate, you know, I'm not going to do anything about this? Or are you going to step in and stop that boar? Let's say you have a teacher or administrator at your child's school who's essentially bullying them or taking advantage of them and speaking down on them, and your child brings it up to you. Are you just going to sit back and say cool, whatever, or just let it happen? And by this, no, I'm not talking about go down there and beat them down. I'm just talking about using that fuel or that fire to go down and address things and set the record straight. So the point I'm making with this video is anger, hurt, they have a purpose and a place, and it's to light a fire within you. What you do with that fire is up to you. But the problem most people make is they go through life only channeling this anger, this hurt, and they channel it at everyone, everything that comes close to them. This is why hurt people hurt people. But when you raised to a higher level of consciousness, when you heal, when you see the way that you're supposed to be, what ends up happening is instead you transmute that hurt or that anger into good works. You enlighten, or you reach enlightenment, but in the times that you need to channel it to alleviate a situation, stop something, or do something, you do channel it. But it's about having control over that anger or that hurt, and not always embodying it and being a bitter person who's stuck on it.